I think centers for independent living are the best kept secret.
Best kept secret in the United States.
Text reads, independent living.
Incredibly important in terms of connecting people with disabilities to resources for independence.
Not only talking about independent living, but actively showing folks what that can look like.
If you're lucky enough to live long enough, you will become a person with a disability.
I should know, because when I was injured, they said you can move into a nursing home at the age of 36. So I was fighting this battle alone, and I had no idea what was out there.
I felt so alone. I didn't know who to talk to about what was going on.
I called them in tears, and I didn't know which way to turn.
And they helped me find an apartment. They also taught me Braille.
I needed a ramp.
They helped me with my ramp, they helped me with a shower.
Built a ramp so that I could become independent and live in the community again.
Because after all, it is called Independent Living Center.
It helped me achieve my goal as living independently, living back in the community on my own. And I don't consider myself as disabled.
I can't say that there's any identified need that they haven't fully met.
They will work until they find some type of solution for whatever you need.
I don't think they would turn a person down that came into this door.
I would come to my Center for Independent Living and just have the weight of the world, it felt like, on my shoulders. But when I rolled into that Center for Independent Living, I realized these people know exactly what I'm going through. They know exactly how I'm feeling at that point in my life.
It saves you from having a mental breakdown.
It's the one place where we can go where our disability isn't seen as a negative.
To see the potential that you may not even realize you have, but help you discover your own potential.
Because a lot of times we are put aside, or we are told we can't do anything.
You don't have to just sit in the corner somewhere and be still.
They want to have the jobs. They want to work. We don't want to sit home and look at young adolescents all day. I mean, we want things to do.
But people don't want to take the chance. Figured you can't do it, but I've known for a long time that it can, because I went blind managing the McDonald's.
Some corporations and businesses that you go to and they see a person with a disability, they be like, no, we are not hiring.
They're automatically discriminated against without actually knowing what their qualifications are.
Once they see you have a disability, they sort of start backing up.
Nobody wanted to hire a person in a wheelchair.
It's very difficult. I doubt our unemployment rate's below 97%.
It's kind of automatically that they think you can't do the job.
They're fearful. They think that they have to take care of you or stay with you all day to make sure that you get to the bathroom, or they're afraid that you'll hurt yourself.
I was looking for a job for 8 years, and I couldn't buy a job.
It's hard.
The biggest barrier is people being afraid to lose their benefits.
Because of the Medicaid, you can only work so much.
And if you work longer, you will lose your benefits.
You're not allowed to. And my question is why and why not?
Because if you do more than that, you could lose Medicaid.
And that's a huge barrier, because then you're still working but living in poverty because you can't make enough money to pay for your attendant care.
That's huge. It's huge. I don't want to lose my Medicare.
And you need the Medicaid in order to buy wheelchairs. A lot of people need medicines.
It's kind of a catch-22 situation. Do I do something and lose those benefits?
I need the waiver in order for me to get to work. But if I go to work, I lose the waiver.
So you are kind of handcuffed as to how much you can make.
So what you're stuck with is low-income, high-turnover jobs.
We want to be able to pay our fair share. And what we propose is that people with disabilities participate in a program, what we're calling Enable Work, which will allow individuals to work, earn competitive wages, and pay into a system that will allow us to remain eligible for our waiver program.
The challenge here is, frankly, we're all living in communities that weren't built for us.
Most of their buildings have stairs.
And I've not been able to go to my interview because I couldn't get my chair up the stairs.
And it's not just physical barriers, it's attitudinal barriers.
Attitude. Oh, this person doesn't see as well as I do, therefore they can't
go back in the stock room.
The employer's idea of what I can do.
They just make assumptions.
Ignorance is probably the biggest barrier.
They're only disabled because you think they are.
Just because they don't do the job the same way that you envisioned the job to be done doesn't mean that the job can't be done.
And for them not to focus on what I cannot do, but what I can do.
Taking a chance.
A lot of people that are disabled will probably make the best employees.
Employers taking a chance on individuals.
So I had a deaf worker and a one-arm worker. And they turned out to be my best workers, period.
Best decision I ever made is for, because you have the willingness to work.
I think a person with a disability have a tendency to take more pride in whatever he or she is doing.
It opened up a world of pride, of dignity, and higher self-esteem.
Open your eyes, open your ears, but open your heart as well to see what the possibilities are.
We just want people to know what their rights are and make sure that we're helping them find their voice.
That really opened my eyes up, let me know that I was not the only one on the battlefield for this cause.
You can actually learn how to advocate for yourself.
If I did not have this center, I wouldn't know about standing up for myself, being an advocate for myself.
Here, we don't help people. Here, we support people to help themselves.
Centers are really powerful in helping people with disabilities become their own self-advocate.
The speaker addresses a table of people with disabilities.
And join people from all over Georgia to let our elected representatives know that access to independent living and centers for independent living are really important.
I could call here and I could say I need to advocate for curb cuts because I got to get to the bus stops and I can't go in the street. I don't want to get hit by a car. And they'll say, okay, we got some people and we'll go down there together.
Not to take people where they want to go, but to empower them to go where they want to go.
It's a shame that every area of Georgia doesn't have these centers to provide these services.
We have 9 centers for independent living, and there's a big hole in the middle of the state that is not covered by a center for independent living.
A map of Georgia counties is color-coded to show areas covered by CILs. The central southern portion of the state is not colored in.
50 of Georgia's 159 counties do not have access to centers for independent living.
I get calls from literally every part of the state, and most of those calls are from people that are in unserved areas of Georgia.
1 million people, that's 14% of Georgians with disabilities who do not have access to the services and programs.
They want a CIL in Valdosta area because there's not one there. And we get calls from that area also.
Their budget's just not big enough, and it's not their fault. It's just not there.
We are trying to get some funding so that the existing centers can provide a satellite office.
Outreach offices or satellite offices.
The map of CIL coverage is shown next to a proposed map where the counties that were not colored in are now shaded in to show which existing CILs will cover those counties. No counties are without coverage.
And reaching other people that hasn't been found yet.
If we don't do our due diligence, at the end of the day, there's somebody that's not going to be able to take a shower because they don't have a home mod. There's somebody that's not going to be able to leave their home to go see their child play baseball because there's not a ramp available.
There's so many things that really can greatly enhance the quality of life of an individual and their independence. And that's what it's all about.
And I feel like I'm part of a family and a team that's there to assist all of these wonderful people that may have a little something wrong with them, and they call it disability.
The statewide Independent Living Council of Georgia logo is shown, silcga.org, Georgia Independent Living Network.